Does that thing really say this is episode 320? Welcome to Cocktails in the War Room. I am your host, Mistress Carrie. Welcome to the War Room, the place that we hang out every Tuesday night at 8:30. It all started back on March 14th of 2020. We did 80 nights in a row, barely surviving the pandemic. Half of us need liver transplants just from that. But then we turned Cocktails in the War Room into a weekly show where we get together to talk about music. We get together to talk about what's going on in the world, in our lives. We're like this big buzzed support group, and there's a lot to talk about tonight. So if you are new to the War Room, if you're watching on Instagram, if you got the link on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, let me know in the comments where you're watching from, especially if it's your first time, so that the War Room family can welcome you properly. The OG War Room family that's been here since the beginning are here. Keith and Louise, Shane and Donna, Jonathan and Alexis. We have also got Sunny on Instagram. Let's see. Bish is here. What's up, Travis and Kim? Hello, Matt. Yes, we are going to talk about LB. There are a lot of things to talk about when it comes to LB. So I want to welcome everybody to the War Room. Just in case you're new and you were not aware, there are some co-hosts here in the War Room as well. Allow me to introduce you. Friday, come here. No, this way, over here. This is Friday and Wednesday. They are the co-hosts here in the War Room. You can find them on Instagram at Wednesday, the Goth Pug. Friday is only a year old, so she's not allowed to have social media because she's too young. Hi, girls. Come on, back up so everybody can see your sweet face. Sit down. Sit. Good girls. So from time to time throughout the show, we like to put on the pug cam so that you can see their adorable little faces because, well, they make everything else that happens here in the War Room a little more tolerable. So let me see. Donna and William and Betty and Matt are joining us. Sherry and Mr. Cole are here. Mike Dupree. Let's see. Donna, welcome to the new War Room family. Don LeBlanc says, good evening, Carrie and War Room friends. So lots to go over today. And obviously, the first thing that we need to talk about is Lyndon Byers. So over the long holiday weekend, we got word that on Independence Day, 61-year-old Lyndon Byers, former Boston Bruin, former sports director of my beloved WAAF, passed away. And we knew that he had been struggling with his health for years. Even while he was still on the radio, we knew that. When he came on the Mistress Carrie podcast, I think it was episode 26. So he was on a while ago, like 300 episodes ago, or 240 episodes ago, whatever it is. He talked about it, having his hips replaced, just dealing with all of the metal in his spine and the physical therapy and the CTE from all of the years of fighting. And it was just a struggle. But when LB came on the show, he was super happy and had kind of made amends and kind of made peace with where he was in his life. He was happily married to his devoted wife, Annie. His son, Will, he got to spend so much time with. And he was really in a good place. And from time to time, LB would just text me pictures and text me a picture of like Will and saying, hey, kid, just wanted to send you this picture so you can see that I've done good. But he was not as active. He was not out and about. He did not feel well and had been struggling with his health, as we had talked about here in the War Room, for a while now. Had spent some time in the hospital, had spent some time in health rehab. And so it was a little bit of a shock that at 61, this giant hole was left because it took a big personality to kind of fill that void. And that's what LB was. When I posted that he had passed, a lot of people commented and said, where's the proof? Can you confirm this? like I would have posted something like that without absolutely confirming it. Like I never in a million years, there have been so many stories of celebrities and they've been reported dead. And then, it's like a Monty Python movie where they're like, I'm not quite dead yet. I'm actually fine. I'm right here. So obviously I knew it was confirmed. LB's wife, Annie, had actually shared something, on social media to let like friends and family know. And, by the time I posted about it, it had already gotten out and people were already posting and tagging LB on Facebook and Instagram. And Brett Feldman saying, did you get to talk to him recently? No, I didn't. I talked to Danielle and she had said that when he was in the hospital that she had gone to visit him. And he was not doing well, but that he was still in there, as she said, that he was still kind of making jokes. But she said, like, you could tell that he was not in a good way, that he definitely looked like he was struggling with his health in a major way. A lot of people have been asking exactly what it was. I don't have confirmation on that. I know that there were a lot of things kind of going wrong all at once. And I do not have information or confirmation on services as of yet. I know that the Greg Hill Foundation has been raising money for LB's wife, Annie, and his son, Will. They obviously, sorry, I'm picking up Friday's toy that she just threw at me. Like you guys heard me talk about when it came to my mother's illness, there's a different process when someone is dealing with a long illness versus someone dying quickly and tragically in like an accident, because you do have time to get your affairs in order and hopefully found a way to say all the things that you wanted to say to that person. And so, I can only hope that LB had a chance to kind of find closure with a lot of the things that he had struggled with in his life, and that, he was able to say all the things to Annie and Will. I don't know if he had any relationship or what his relationship was like with his older daughters. LB could be a difficult guy to have personal relationships with. I think that the people that worked with him had our own struggles, which we talked about on the podcast. I told him that it put a lot of extra work on me. I'm not going to speak for Mike Shue, but there were many times where, they needed the responsible person to go up on stage at an event and be able to thank all the sponsors and to take care of all of the people that needed to be taken care of, or to do interviews and to be reliable. And Mike Shue and I, that was a lot of our role, was that we were the ones that showed up at the events early, that we left late, that we made sure that all the interviews and the videos got done, that all the stage announcements got done. And LB and I talked about it because there were a lot of times where I would get really frustrated with him because it would be nice to be the fun guy. I was like, oh, it must be nice to be the life of the party while everybody else is running around making sure that all the work stuff got taken care of. And LB realized that, when he came on the show, when I told him I was launching the podcast, I said, would you come on? And he was like, absolutely, but I'm getting ready to have another surgery. Can I come on, like in a couple of months when I'm feeling better? Which is why he wasn't on like one of the early, like first 20 episodes of the podcast, because he was recovering from another operation. And when I asked him, would you come on? He was like, absolutely. And, I was like, is there anything you don't want to talk about? And he was like, no, you know me, kid, anything that you want to talk about, I'm here for. And, but the thing is like, even 5+ years later, since AAF has gone off the air, and I see people out places or people comment on my social media posts, some of the things that they always still ask me about are the stories with LB. And so I really wanted to focus on the good stuff. My relationship with LB was a work relationship. I didn't rely on him, for emotional support. He wasn't a member of my family. I didn't rely on him financially. I wasn't married to him. So there were a lot of things that I could let go that I think other people in LB's family had a hard time dealing with, because he was exactly how he was on the air, off the air. He was exactly the same guy. And that was the thing about LB that was so great, is that it wasn't an act. You couldn't fake LB. LB was as real as LB could be. He would give you the shirt off his back. He would give you the last $20 in his wallet. And when I posted on Facebook the picture of him in the red, white, and blue blazer, which I have to thank our buddy Kaiser for, that worked with us at AAF for years. He sent me that picture and said, I took this picture, I own it, share it, do whatever you want with it. And I asked people to share stories. I asked people to share LB memories. I asked people to share photos. And so many of the pictures were, I saw him at an event, he signed something for my dad or my son, or he volunteered to come to a charity event, or he hosted this thing, or I saw him at a hockey game, or I needed a raffle item for a charity event and he signed a jersey for us, or, just the selflessness and the generosity that LB was when it came to fans, Bruins fans, fans of AAF, just anybody. You couldn't go anywhere with him without people driving by and rolling the window down and going, LB! And he just was that guy that if you were around him, it was hilarious. I wanted to tell you guys a few LB stories. So the first one was an indoor beach party at the Tsongas Arena, and LB showed up at the back loading gate with like 25 people that none of them had tickets. None of them had passes. He just showed up and was like, I'm LB, and brought all of his friends. And LB had a tipping point when it came to drinking. And LB was fun. And then you could always tell when it got to the point where LB had tipped, because he would look at you like he didn't know who you were. And we were backstage at the Tsongas Arena. It was an indoor beach party. I don't know if it was Mudvayne. I forget who it was, but we had to go up and make stage announcements. And LB was supposed to come up. And I was like, LB, are you coming? Are you coming? And he was there, and he had a drink, and he looked at me and he gave me this look like, why are you talking to me? What the hell do you want? I don't even know who you are. And I was like, oh, we're at that part of the night. And it happened a lot. LB got in fist fights because of that. One of the things that I was always shocked about, and it happened all the time, is that people would come up and try to pick a fight with him because they were like, you're not that tough. And it was like going up to Everest and going, you're not that high, I'm going to climb you. It would always shock me that people wanted to pick a fight with a guy that not only fought for a living, but fought for a living on skates, on ice. Because if he were standing on solid ground, even in Crocs, he could kick your ass. And if you ever had a chance to meet LB, his hands were huge. Like if you looked at his hands up close, he could like crack walnuts barehanded, and they were just covered with scars. I used to call them like tennis rackets. He had like tennis racket hands, but they were like giant hams that like, I could never imagine being in a fight with him and getting punched by one of those, because they were just huge. And I would watch these people try to like pick a fight with LB. And what always happened, most of the time anyway, is that LB would be at the bar buying that person shots by the end of the night. And the two of them would just be laughing. But we would just, hey, what are you doing? But we would always just watch it and go, oh, see that guy over there? He's going to have another shot, and then he's going to go and try to pick a fight with LB. And it would always happen, and it was crazy. Two really funny stories that I wanted to share with you guys. Hey, will you stop, Friday? Stop digging in the couch or being bad. So, two funny stories that I wanted to share with you guys. The first one, you might not know that, hey, stop, sit down, sit, good girl. Is that when I started looking into going to Iraq back in like 2004, one of the things that had come up was that the Air Force was going to smuggle LB and I on a C-130 and not tell anyone and land in Baghdad with us for the day. They were flying to Iraq to drop off supplies. They were going to fly us. We were going to land. And as long as that plane was on the ground, we were going to be there to take pictures and like sign autographs for whoever was on the base in Baghdad. And then when the plane was fueled up and ready to fly home, we were going to get on the plane and fly home and not tell anybody until we got home that we had even done it. And it was going to be LB and I. And we actually had conversations about it with guys that were in the Air Force in Massachusetts. And one of the things that kept that from happening was that it was a ridiculously stupid idea. When we started talking about other ways to try and go over and visit the troops, because you guys know how LB was, I ended up going over there as an embedded reporter, which is how I got permission and got the clearance and everything that I got. LB didn't qualify because of his criminal record, and they wouldn't take him. They wouldn't let him go. And so LB was, when I finally got permission to go to Iraq in 2006, and it was a done deal and it was definitely happening, LB, on the air was like, this is great. This is awesome. I'm so jealous that she's going to go. And then privately, he pulled me aside and was like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud that you're going to go and do this thing. He's like, I would give anything to go. But I'm so proud of you for figuring out a way to go and to do this. And he was like, anything that I can do to help. He was just that way. Hey, stop. You are being very naughty. The other story, which is the one that I shared on Facebook, is the story about the time that Mike Shue, LB, and I decided. So when it was going to snow really hard, when we were going to get a big snowstorm, the radio station would insist on putting us up in hotel rooms close to the radio station so that A, they didn't have the liability of us trying to drive, and B, because they wanted us on the air so that we could give information. And obviously all of the first responders and the plow truck drivers and all of those people had something to listen to. So they needed to know that we were going to be at work in the studio on time. So they would get us a hotel room. So this one storm, Mike Shue was doing middays at the time. I was doing afternoons, and obviously LB was part of the morning show. And we decided that we were going to stay at the radio station and that we were going to stay up all night and we were going to get drunk on the air and we were going to do a show, all three of us together. And so we all showed up with whatever supplies we thought we needed, right? Like I showed up with practical stuff. I had like a blanket and a pillow in case I needed to take a nap in the middle of the night. I brought like Tupperware with like food in it. And like I brought drinks. I had a refrigerator in my office. Mike Shue like brought whatever food he wanted. And we made sure that we had change for the vending machines and all of that. And LB walks in with nothing but a deep fryer and shopping bags full of stuff that he was going to fry. And that's what he wanted to do. And back then, Mike Shue and LB shared an office that was the first door outside of the studio door. Their office was right there. And so LB shows up like in sweats with his Crocs on. And he was like, don't worry about the food, kid. I got it taken care of. And he had like corn dogs and he had like frozen burritos and he had all of this stuff, but it was a real like fryer. Like it wasn't an air fryer. It was like an oil fryer, a deep fryer. So he sets this thing up in the office, which is carpeted, right? Like anybody that's ever worked in food service knows how dangerous friolators are because the hot oil is so hot and so dangerous. He set it up in the office. And Mike Shue and I were in the studio, but the vents were connected from the office to the studio. And all of a sudden we started smelling something. And Mike Shue goes, did LB order Chinese food? Because we could just smell the fryolator. And LB started cooking corn dogs. When I tell you guys that I came this close to peeing my pants laughing, because LB comes walking in the studio with this look of pride. Like, look at what I just did. Hey, don't bite my hair. That's not nice. And he comes in with a plate. He didn't just have a plate of corn dogs. He had all the condiments that you would want, a spicy mustard, ketchup. Like he had all the stuff. And LB was famous for like making concoctions. So like he would combine foods that you would like, why would you ever eat those things together? But that's what he did. He came in the studio with this platter of corn dogs with like a plethora of dipping sauces. I don't know if I've ever laughed that hard. Meanwhile, Mike Shue and I had been drinking. We stayed up all night, the three of us, and just got drunk in the studio and ate corn dogs and took calls from plow guys and talked about road closures. And at one point, LB went outside in like shorts and he took his shirt off. He's like, I'm from Nipawin, Saskatchewan, kid. And he's making snow angels nude outside in front of the building at like 3:00 in the morning. And we had our video guy, and I went looking for these videos. We had our video guy say, if you guys are staying at the station all night, I'm coming too. Someone needs to document this. So this stuff is there is video evidence of this. I just can't find it. But it does exist. I just don't know what platform. Like if the video got put up on Instagram or Facebook, or if it was what was before TikTok, the video app that was before TikTok. You guys will tell me in the comments. Like, I don't know what outlet they used for this video, but I know the video exists. Eric says, at least he didn't fry an Oreo. Eduardo says, I remember when you guys were on the air on 9/11. Yeah, me too. Like the first plane hit while I was driving to Boston. And I remember Kevin Barbary saying that a plane had hit the Trade Center. By the time I got close to the station, the second plane had hit, and I got into the building, into my office, and walked into the on-air studio to see the first tower fall down. And all of that time, the same thing with the marathon bombing and all, not MySpace, Vine. Thank you, Shell. It was Vine. That I know that there were Vine videos of some of that night, but there is video of this plow night, and it was just hilarious. Sonny says the Songus Arena video exists. Oh, I'm sure that exists for sure. Yes, it is the Vine app. Thank you, guys. I looked on the old AAF YouTube channel, and I didn't see that video there. So I don't know, because the AAF website had its own video player, and we hosted a lot of our own videos before everybody realized it was just easier to embed the YouTube videos instead. So, you know, these videos could have been anywhere. The one thing about AAF that we weren't really good at, because we would get different video people and different promotions people and then different program directors, is that we never had one cohesive person that was in charge of archiving everything. The people that were there the longest tried really hard. Mike Shue and I tried really hard. Hillman's various producers tried really hard to archive things, but we never had like one place where copies of everything, like we didn't have a Library of Congress for WAF. So this stuff is all out there. I just don't know where it all is. But what's up, Lou, on Instagram? Larry says, You guys gave me Marilyn Manson tickets at like 4 a.m. Best plowing night I ever had. Love you, LB. We had so much fun. And then by the time the morning show came in the morning, I went into my office because we had been up all night, and I literally slept like half the day on the couch in my office because we were Friday. Don't you dare. Where's Mr. C is here. Mr. C! We need assistance. I think Friday needs to go outside before she gets in trouble. Bish says, hey, kid, I had a 6-on-1 in Bangkok. Oh, I know. Mike Shue put up a great tribute to LB on his Facebook page. Good old Ron V didn't get the one video library set up. Jake says, we tried. And AAF was so far ahead when it came to social media and viral content and video content. A lot of the time, AAF was doing stuff and the company would go, why are you guys doing that? And then like 6 months or a year later, it was like a mandate from the company that everybody do what we were doing. And by that time, we were doing something else. So we had begun the process in 2020 of putting this archive together because 2020 was our 50th anniversary year. And we were going to put these big, giant recap videos together. And obviously, the station went off the air in February and it never came to be. So, yes, my assistants. Donna says, Mr. C, Code Brown. Assistant C, we need assistance ASAP. There was never a charity that he wouldn't support. He was a great human. He had the biggest heart in the world. Sometimes he would give away stuff that he shouldn't give away. I can't tell you how many times he would come into the studio or come into my office after the morning show got done and be like, hey, kid, can you get me a pair of tickets to this show? And I'd go, I already gave you a pair of tickets, LB. And he'd go, I know, but I gave them to somebody's kid or I donated them to a charity event. Can you get me some more tickets? And it would be like, of course you did, LB. So it got to the point where up until the last minute, sometimes we would tell LB, we don't know. And then we would give him his tickets at the last minute so that he couldn't give them away because we couldn't get him anymore and he needed to be there. We'd be like, you cannot give these tickets away. We don't have any more to get you in. Friday, Daddy's over there. Go tell him to take you out. Code Brown. Code Brown, Mr. C. Go tell him. Go tell him that you almost did a very bad thing in the war room and mommy would have been he gave out his phone number on the air. People would call him all the time at all hours of the night. Trisha said, Carrie, I'm so sorry for your loss. I feel blessed to have met him in April of 2024 in Leominster. I caught her pre-squat. She was being bad, but I caught her. Okay, Friday, go outside. Thank you, Mr. C. Trisha said I had been wicked sick and I got his autograph that day. Now I still have surgery every 6 months. My brother Mike used to listen to AAF. He definitely had the biggest heart ever. Met LB in Springfield when his cousin played there. And for some wobbly pops after the game. Bish says, me and Matt Damon, we shared a couple of laughs. Oh my God. The stories, the quotes, like I literally could talk about LB all night. I can't, but I could. So I just wanted to thank all of you guys for the amazing archive of memories that is now on my Facebook and Instagram because so many people typed out their memories of LB. And I know that people that we worked with at AAF have been reading all of those comments. And it's literally like this time capsule of his career and all of the funny things that he said on the air. And Donna says, thank you, Mr. C. Mr. Cole says, welcome done. Well done, Mr. C. Brett says, show us Mr. C. Mr. C doesn't want to be seen. He's just chilling right now. Trina says he seemed like an amazing guy. I love the big heart stories. Yeah, he was just a great guy. So we have been just trying to process like the loss of it. And what really got me is that in the days after we got the news, all of the old coworkers of mine from AAF, people that I haven't talked to since the station went off the air, people that left the station while the station was still on the air to go to other stations in other cities or to go and work for other companies, that have just all been texting, going, we need to get together. Are you going to go to the services? Have you heard anything yet? You know, we had such great times together. And it really does remind me of like what lightning in a bottle and what a special place AAF was for all of those years. Not that I didn't know that already, but to have it underscored and repeated in a time where everyone is just grieving this larger than life person that we loved and wanted to punch, like all at the same time sometimes. I never worked with him on the same show. I covered for Hillman one time, early in like 98 or 99 when Hillman went on vacation and I hosted the morning show. But other than that, we just were coworkers in the building together. And, you know, so many people that we used to work with have been messaging me going, he absolutely adored you. You know, I talked to him last year and he was so proud of all of the things that you were doing. Sonny says on Instagram, what about John Osterland? So far we've lost like 3 of the big DJs from like the heyday of AAF. We lost Rocco first. He died years ago. We lost John Osterland a few years ago, and now we've lost LB. And the 3 of those guys together right now, bellied up to a bar wherever we go after this life. The party's going to be on when we all get there for sure. So I just wanted to, you know, thank everybody for all of the love, for all of the amazing stories. Like I said, I don't have confirmation on services and people keep asking me what happened. I don't know the answer to those questions. I just know that he had been struggling with a lot of different things going wrong at the same time, which is always hard because your body gets weak fighting on multiple fronts. And, it's just, we love you, LB. So if you guys could cheers, this is not Fernandez sangria. This is my sangria that I made over the long holiday weekend. Cheers to LB. Everybody with a wobbly pop or not so wobbly pop. Jessica, you're so right. Liz Wild passed away too. Liz Wild was on before I was on the air. I was at the station in the promotions department, but by the time I got on the air, Liz Wild had already left. So I guess I was talking about like my time on the air, but yeah, we lost Liz Wild recently as well. So, so cheers, kid, to LB. I'll take another sip. Jake says, regale the audience with the story of you setting your bed sheets on fire. This is not about me. This is not about me. I'll tell that story another time. I haven't had enough sangria to tell that story. I told it on the air already once. I'll tell that story another day. All right. One thing I do want to let you guys know about is we're going to do a ticket giveaway tonight. So if you are new to the War Room, if you're watching, you've never watched before, from time to time we give away tickets here in the War Room. This is how we do it. Tonight, I have tickets to the Summer of Loud tour that's going to be at the Xfinity Center coming up on July 22nd. That has got Killswitch Engage, Parkway Drive, I Prevail, Beartooth. Hi, girls. Did you do a good job? Did you do a good job? Were you good? Don't drink my sangria. Hold on. Let me turn the camera back on so you can say hi to everyone. Did you do a good job? Were you good? Say hi to everybody that's new in the war room tonight. Say follow Wednesday on Instagram at Wednesday the Goth Pug, right? Are you guys being good? Yes, you want me to pet you? Okay, watch what Friday does. Friday learned this from Wednesday. Watch if I stop petting her. Watch now, she won't do it, little shit. What? Oh, no, she's not going to do it. You girls are sitting very nicely. When I was setting up the war room, they came and sat down so that I could focus the camera and set them up, and they're sitting in the exact spots. So you girls are doing a good job being my little co-host. Yeah, you're doing good. Friday, you're being very good. Thank you for going outside and being a good girl and not pooping on the floor in the war room. I appreciate it. All right, so we want to do a ticket giveaway. So the Summer of Loud tour, if you want a free pair of tickets, this is going to come, first serve. I'm going to start sending out these tickets as soon as the show is over. Go to mistresscarrie.com, click the message, the studio button in the top right-hand corner, put loud in the subject. And when I get done, I am going to go down and I'm going to start sending those email addresses. So send me your full name and your email address, and I'm going to start sending out pairs of tickets tonight. So if you want to go and see the Summer of Loud, July 22nd at the Xfinity Center in Mansfield, go to mistresscarrie.com, click the message, the studio button, send me a message with loud in the subject, and I will send tickets starting with the first message that I got and going down until my tickets are gone. So pugs, not drugs, says Eduardo. Let's see. Trina says, I want to go see Youngblood September 19th. Yeah, so we're going to get there because we got to talk about Black Sabbath and stuff. For anybody that's new to the war room or anybody that's like, where is Mistress Carrie been? You can still listen to me on the radio. I'm going to run down a list of all of the different places that you guys can find me. You can hear me every weekday from 10 to 3 on Charleston's Best Rock, 98 Rock in Charleston, South Carolina. You can stream on the free 98 Rock app, which you can download at my98rock.com. And you can also stream off the website as well. You can listen with your smart speaker. You can hear me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on 100 FM The Pike in Worcester, Mass. Download the Pike app. You can stream the station through the app. You can stream the station at pikefm.com. Coming up on Sunday, the first annual Grunge Fest is happening at Indian Ranch. Gates open at 11. Music starts at noon. The guys from Rotten Apple that played my birthday party last year are going to be one of the bands on the lineup. If you're an Alice in Chains fan, you are going to love those guys. You can also hear me every weekday afternoon from 3 to 7 on 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. Download the free Bone app. You can listen to the station that way or go to 1063thebone.com and you can stream the station there. And the newest station that you can find me on, Laser 99.3 and 98.5, everything that rocks in Springfield, Mass. Mornings with Mistress Carrie, 6 to 10 a.m. every weekday. Download the free Laser app or go to laser993.com and you can listen to the station live from anywhere. Speaking of Laser and Western Mass, this is a Mistress Carrie deal. If you guys like wine, if you are anywhere out and about in Western Mass and you like to go to wineries and vineyards, Western Mass, the Laser Wine Passport gets you $150 in value to 3 local vineyards for only $75. So this makes a great gift for somebody for their anniversary or their wedding, just a special event. If you have a wine lover, this is $150 worth of value to vineyards in Western Massachusetts for just $75. So you can get more details on that if you go to laser993.com. Other events that you need to know about: the 3rd annual USMC Scout Sniper Association Skydive Boogie is happening this Saturday at Jumptown Skydiving in Orange, Mass. I got my shirt on right now. This is what the shirt looks like on the back. The shirts are for sale. If you go to the concert and event calendar at mistresscarrie.com, look up July 12th, the details, the times, the links to get directions, the link to buy t-shirts, everything is up on the event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. But it's going to start first thing in the morning. I think we've got 29 veterans that are going to be skydiving on Saturday. Their loved ones are coming out to cheer them on. This is family friendly. So if you're looking for a motorcycle destination, if you want to pack a little picnic lunch and grab the kids and drive them to the Orange Municipal Airport, go to Jumptown. Kids love just hanging out, watching the planes and watching the skydivers. And then the official Hogs Call after party is happening at the Red Apple Farm later on Saturday afternoon. And that's in Phillipston. And once again, that's open to everybody. Red Apple Farm in the summertime always has live music, and they've got farmers markets and crafts and fantastic ciders. So that's all happening this Saturday. The weather looks great. The details, links, timelines, everything you need to know are on the concert and event calendar at mistresscarrie.com. And then later on this year, on September 20th, the annual Johnny Appleseed Festival in downtown Leominster. There's going to be a big Mistress Carrie area set up this year for that as well. Let's see. Eric says the dogs destroyed the dick. Yes, so the backstage pass holders know this already. The cock and balls that you guys sent in to give to the dogs, they ripped one of the testicles off. So the cock and balls are no more, thanks to the pugs. Let's see. Don't destroy the dick, says Jonathan. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. I got to tell you guys who's on the podcast. So we need to recap because we did not get together last week. I had no internet here in the house because of the storms. So 2 weeks ago, Maria and Chris from In This Moment were on the podcast talking about everything from collaborating with Five Finger Death Punch to Ozzy and Sabbath to their show coming up on August 14th at the Palladium in Worcester. And then last week, Will Turpin from Collective Soul came back on the show to talk about their tour with Live, to talk about their documentary, which is called Give Me a Word, the Collective Soul Story, which started streaming today. I believe you can get it on Amazon. So if you're a Collective Soul fan, they made this documentary while they were recording their most recent album, which is a double album that they recorded inside Elvis's house that's in Palm Springs, and which was built acoustically so Elvis could record there. But they also wanted to tell the 30th anniversary story of Collective Soul as well. So we talked a lot about this documentary, about the filming of it, about all of the things that they remembered and didn't remember. And so this new Collective Soul documentary starts streaming today. So those are the last two podcast episodes. I have been so excited for this podcast episode. I have been waiting for this episode, and we finally were able to get together at the same time to make it happen. Episode 266 of the Mistress Carrie podcast goes live at midnight tonight, featuring Christina and Andrea from Lacuna Coil. So not only did we talk about the 20th anniversary of their album, Comalize, but we also talked about the documentary celebrating the 20th anniversary of Comalize, which I'm in because their appearance on the Mistress Carrie show was the first interview they ever did in the United States. It's the first time they ever played acoustic in the United States, and they found video of that online and wanted to incorporate it into the documentary, and it's all in there. And because I'm going to Rome at the end of the month, even though Lacuna Coil is from Milan, they gave me some great advice about going to Italy because I'm going to be traveling and taking the backstage pass holders with me. So I really wanted to have a chance to sit down and talk to Lacuna Coil before I went to Italy. So this brand new episode goes live at midnight tonight. Mark says, I won my first copy of Slipknot self-titled from you and AAF when I was 12. That is awesome. Hold on, I'm getting caught up on all of the comments here. Sonny says, Collective Soul sucks, though. I'm sorry you feel that way. I love them. I think they're great. I saw them at Woodstock in 99. I saw them at Woodstock in 94. Let's see. Eric says, get Taylor Swift on the podcast. Do you think Taylor Swift would do the Mistress Carrie podcast? I would love to have her on the podcast, especially since she kind of set this new era in music. The guys from Five Finger Death Punch had their masters sold out from under them the way that Taylor Swift's were. And so Five Finger Death Punch went in and re-recorded all of their biggest songs for this new 20th anniversary edition because they don't control their masters the way that Taylor Swift didn't. So she's Taylor Swift, but the guys from Five Finger Death Punch stole her idea. So that's pretty badass. Let's see. Okay, so if you subscribe to the podcast, you get the weekly episodes every Wednesday. You also get the Sit Rep Monday through Friday that gives you all of your rock news, music headlines, entertainment updates in around 5 minutes. And there's also mini versions of the Sit Rep that you can hear on Laser 99.3 and 98.5 and 106.3 The Bone in Portland, Maine. So you can hear the Sit Rep there. A reminder about all the places that you can listen to the Mistress Carrie podcast. Basically, the short answer is everywhere you get podcasts, you can get the Mistress Carrie podcast, including being part of the Pantheon Podcast Network. You can listen to all the episodes on YouTube, and also you can just go to mistresscarrie.com, find the episode you want to listen to, and just click play. I thought this would be cool. I wanted to show you guys the top countries that are listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. We're at 149 countries overall, but the biggest listening countries, the United States, Canada, Germany, the United Kingdom, Australia. I can only make this list so big. Ireland, Sweden, Turkey, Mexico, Belgium, the Netherlands, Albania, France, Italy, Finland, Poland, Portugal. This goes all the way down to Belize. These are the countries that listen the most. This isn't a complete list of all of the countries, but this is the ones that are the most active listening to the Mistress Carrie podcast. So I wanted to show you guys that list. If you're celebrating your birthday today, you're sharing it with Jamie Cook, also with Beck and Jamo Johansson from the Allman Brothers Band, Jamie Cook from the Arctic Monkeys. So cheers. Happy unbirthday, Keith. I will also take a sip for not removing Friday's first birthday message from last month. Your birthday month is over Friday. You don't get to celebrate any more than that. So happy on birthday, Keith. All right, we got to talk quickly about some of the biggest stories in music that happened over the weekend. $190 million was raised by the Black Sabbath Back to the Beginning final concert for Ozzy and Sabbath at Aston Villa in Birmingham, England. They had 5 million people buy tickets on the live stream. Never mind the 45,000 people that bought tickets inside the stadium. $190 million that is going to be distributed between the Parkinson's organization, Cure Parkinson's. Then there's Acorn Children's Hospice and also the Birmingham Children's Hospital are all going to benefit. And when you think about it, right? Black Sabbath started in Birmingham 55 years ago. You look at a guy like Ozzy that has done all of these crazy things. You look at a band like Black Sabbath that when they started, people were saying they're Satan worshipers and they're going to corrupt your children. And the legacy of Black Sabbath 55 years later is that they can possibly contribute to the cure for Parkinson's, or they're going to possibly help cure illnesses in sick kids because of the gigantic amount of money that they helped to raise with their final concert. And I think that shows the power of heavy metal. That shows the power of this community. And that is pretty badass. Mark says that glass is dope. Thank you. This is my sangria glass. And I think it looks so badass with sangria in it. I make good sangria. It's not as good as Fernandez's, but it's good. So that happened. Highlights. Nuno Betancourt, a total highlight. I thought Youngblood was one of the people that everybody left talking about. His version of Changes I thought was great. Can we talk about Steven fucking Tyler for 5 seconds? His voice at 77 years old, the Demon of Screamin' was back in a major way. And Eddie Trunk had Joe Perry on at the end of last week saying that there are conversations happening about possibly having a farewell Aerosmith gig. There's not going to be a tour, but for Aerosmith to have the chance to say one final goodbye to fans would be amazing. Seeing Jakey Lee up there, seeing Bill Ward up there playing, even though Sabbath only played 4 songs together, seeing all of the rock stars that were there that were just grateful to be part of it. I thought Rival Sons were great. Hailstorm did great. I just thought it was awesome. The All-Star Jams were fantastic. I loved those. And I just thought that they did a great job. You know, did it suck to see Ozzy that way? Yes, but his voice still sounded good. That Mama, I'm Coming Home, not a dry eye in the stadium. That is exactly how the members of Black Sabbath should have gone out. I thought it was great. The other thing that happened this weekend was the Scorpions played to celebrate their 60th anniversary in Germany this weekend with Alice Cooper and Judas Priest opening up, which is why they all weren't in Birmingham. And the Scorpions concert was recorded for an upcoming live album. They have also released the trailer for the upcoming Scorpions biopic, which is called Wind of Change, that is supposed to be out by the end of this year. This is not a documentary. This is an actual movie like Bohemian Rhapsody, like Motley Crue's The Dirt, like Elton John's biopic, like the one that Jeremy Allen White from The Bear is getting ready to release as he portrays Bruce Springsteen. So this Scorpions movie is going to focus on like the 70s and 80s era of the Scorpions, the Iron Curtain, growing up, you know, in Germany with the Berlin Wall. I think it's going to focus on that era of the Scorpions. And then we got to talk about Matt Cameron, who announced yesterday that after 27 years, he is leaving Pearl Jam. Now, of course, Matt Cameron is the drummer from Soundgarden. When Soundgarden broke up in 1997, he got invited by Pearl Jam to join Pearl Jam as their drummer in 1998, where he has been ever since. He played double duty for a while when Soundgarden would go out on the road, but he did not give a reason. He just said that he had stepped away from the drum riser with Pearl Jam for the last time. Pearl Jam released a really beautiful statement saying that, you know, they loved him as a player, they loved him as a friend. There are theories. Number one, that possibly Soundgarden is getting ready to do something with their Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction coming. They were supposed to be at the Black Sabbath show, and they weren't there, and I don't know why. The other theory that's been floating around the interwebs is that Matt Cameron is going to be announced as the new drummer for the Foo Fighters, which would be pretty interesting. What's up, Mr. Saya? Josh Smith says Jason Momoa in the Pantera Pit. So Sharon Osbourne has now nicknamed Jason Momoa as Mosh Pit Momoa because I don't think anybody was having a better time. Jason Momoa asked for tickets to the show, and then they were like, actually, Sharon wants you to host it. He was like, oh, okay. I thought Jack Black's version of Mr. Crowley with the kid band that had sons of Scott Ian and Tom Morello in it, I thought they were great. Yes, producer Mike is with us here in the War Room tonight. Producer Mike says Black Sabbath, the final song to hit the airwaves on WAF. Yeah, it still to this day when I hear that song, it's like getting punched in the stomach to this day. Let's see. What were some of the other highlights of the show? I just thought it was great. A lot of people saw the very end of the stream and thought that the guys from Black Sabbath abandoned Ozzy. They cut the stream before we saw the members of Black Sabbath come back out with a cake for Ozzy at the very end. And then backstage, Youngblood gave Ozzy a gold chain with a big diamond cross as a gift, thanking him for having him be part of the whole thing. And then Sid Wilson, the DJ from Slipknot, proposed to Kelly Osbourne. And as he was getting ready to pull the ring out of his bag, Ozzy yelled, "Fuck you, you're not marrying my fucking daughter." And then Sid Wilson, which was a joke, obviously. And then Sid, in front of all the Osbournes, in front of their son Sydney, in front of all their friends, got down on one knee and proposed to Kelly. And of course, she said yes. So it was a pretty fantastic day. I'm sorry if the video just froze. Denise says, froze here too, both computer and on the phone. The signal froze. Am I still frozen now? John says, I was dying to hear the theories. Is that old school? Old school, is that you in the comments? Let's see. Walter, get the IT guy. Let's see. So the Matt Cameron thing, and then the other thing that we were talking about was Joe Perry hinting that there could be another Aerosmith final, like there could be a final Aerosmith show. So that was the last thing I wanted to talk to you about music. Oh no. Guys, are we back? Are we back? Let me know what's going on. I'm seeing comments from Instagram. I am seeing comments from YouTube, but I am not seeing comments from Facebook, which is troublesome. Let me see what's going on.